All right, everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a pretty incredible story today.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The Kirtland's Warbler. Ever heard of it?
Oh, yeah. Fascinating little bird.
It was once super close to vanishing, like gone forever.
Right on the edge, yeah.
But it's a bit of a rock star now,
Whole
actually.
total comeback kid.
A real symbol of like how we can actually help species recover.
When we put our minds to it, for sure.
And it's this bright yellow bird, pretty striking.
Oh, yeah. You can't miss them if you're lucky enough to see one.
And get this, they migrate from Michigan all the way to the Bahamas.
Talk about a long haul.
Thousands of miles. So we're using this research. It's called Kirtland's Warbler, Setophaga kirtlandii, a conservation success story.
Catchy title.
Really dives deep, and we're going to figure out how this bird made such a crazy comeback.
It's a story with, like, twists and turns,
For sure. So let's jump in. This bird is, like, seriously picky about where it lives.
Oh, yeah. They're not just hanging out in any forest.
Right. Like, what's the deal with that?
So they need young jack pine forests. That's key.
Okay, young. Like, how young are we talking?
Between 5 and 20 years old, that's their sweet spot.
All right, so not just any pine forest. It's got to be jack pine specifically.
Yep, and here's the kicker. They need forests that have been through fires.
Wait, fires? I thought fires were bad for, well, everything.
Yeah, I mean, usually, but in this case, it's essential, part of the cycle.
So how does that work?
These fires, they clear out the older trees, and the undergrowth gets too thick if it doesn't burn off.
So the fires create the right conditions.
Exactly. The young jack pines can sprout up, the spacing is right, the whole thing.
Huh. That is pretty counterintuitive.
Nature's a bit weird sometimes.
Right, so we've got these specific forests, and then we've got our little warbler, right?
Our little yellow friend.
Yeah, paint a picture for us. What do they look like?
Well, they're small, about the size of a sparrow, I'd say.
Okay, I got it.
And the males, they have this vibrant yellow belly. It's pretty hard to miss.
Oh, yeah, that's what I always picture.
And they have these dark streaks on their back and sides, good camouflage.
My.
And then they have this white eye ring. It gives them this kind of curious look.
Yeah, like almost inquisitive. I've seen pictures.
Right. And the females, they're similar, but the colors are a little more muted.
They're rocking that same basic look.
Yep, just a tad less flashy than the guys.
Makes sense. So imagine this tiny bird making this epic journey.
I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Michigan to the Bahamas. How did he even do that?
Right. Well, they use the stars for navigation.
Like celestial maps.
Exactly. And they can also sense the Earth's magnetic field.
Whoa, that's wild. I mean, I get lost going to the grocery store sometimes.
It's incredible, right? And think about the energy it takes.
Yeah, flying over open water, no rest stops.
They're burning serious calories for sure.
So they arrive in Michigan, they've got to find a mate, build a nest, the whole deal.
Family time. It's breeding season.
And how does that work?
Well, the males, they've got this distinct song.
I've heard it. It's pretty cool, kind of buzzy.
Yeah, and that's how they attract the females.
Okay, so serenading them.
Basically, and then get this, they build their nests on the ground.
On the ground. Seems risky.
It is, but they hide them really well under all that low vegetation.
Smart. So how many eggs do they lay?
Usually between 3 and 6.
Okay, and both parents help out with the chicks?
Oh, yeah, they share the responsibility, feeding them, keeping them warm.
It's a team effort. But, things weren't always this, rosy, right?
No, not at all. There was a time when they were in serious trouble.
Yeah, like on the brink of disappearing.
It was a close call.
So what happened? Why were they struggling so much?
Well, remember how we talked about their specific habitat needs?
Yeah, the fires and the young jack pines.
Right. Well, for a while, fire suppression was a big thing.
People trying to prevent forest fires, I get it.
Yeah, which makes sense in a lot of cases, but it was bad news for the warbler.
Because it messed with the habitat.
Exactly. No fires, no young jack pines, no place for the warblers to nest.
It's all connected.
And then there was another problem, the brown-headed cowbird.
Cowbirds, what do they do?
They're brood parasites, which is a fancy way of saying they're kind of sneaky.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They lay their eggs in other birds' nests.
No way, like ditching their parental duties.
Pretty much. And the warblers, they were easy targets.
So what happened to the warbler chicks?
Well, the cowbird chicks are bigger and more aggressive.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they outcompete the warbler chicks for food.
So fewer warblers survive.
Exactly. It was a double whammy, habitat loss, and these cowbird invaders.
And that's what led to this really scary population decline.
Yeah, by the 1970s, there were less than 200 breeding pairs left.
Wow, that's incredibly low.
It was dire. They were on the verge of extinction.
So how did they pull back from that? What changed?
Well, people realized how serious the situation was, and they took action.
Like what kind of action?
They started trapping and removing the cowbirds.
Just getting them out of the warbler's territory.
Yep, it was pretty simple, but it made a huge difference.
Really? Just that one thing?
Yeah, the warbler's nesting success went way up, almost immediately.
Huh. Shows how important it is to understand those specific threats.
Absolutely. You got to know what you're dealing with.
And then they had to address the habitat issue, right?
Yep, so they started doing controlled burns.
Wait, they set fires on purpose.
I know, sounds crazy, but it's carefully planned.
So it's not like just lighting a match and hoping for the best.
No, no, it's all very scientific. They have experts who manage the burns.
And the goal is to mimic those natural fires.
Exactly, create the conditions the warblers need.
And it worked.
It did. It's been a huge success. They've restored a lot of habitat.
That's amazing. So all this work, all this effort, it paid off?
It did, in a big way.
The Kirtland's warbler, it's not endangered anymore, right?
That's right. They took it off the endangered species list in 2019.
Wow, what a victory. I mean, that's a real testament to what we can do.
Yeah, it's inspiring when we understand a species and we take action, we can actually make a difference.
For sure, it gives me hope. But I mean, it's not like all the problems are solved, right?
No, unfortunately not. They still face challenges.
Like what? What are they up against now?
Well, climate change is a big one.
Yeah, that's affecting pretty much everything.
It's impacting their breeding grounds here and their wintering grounds in the Bahamas.
So changing weather patterns, rising temperatures.
Exactly. It can affect their food sources, their migration routes, even their breeding success.
Yeah, it's like a cascade of effects,
And habitat loss is still a concern.
even with the controlled burns.
Yeah, there's development, urbanization. It's an ongoing battle to protect their habitat.
So what can we do? How do we keep this success story going?
Well, research is crucial.
Like figuring out how climate change is impacting them specifically.
Exactly. We need to understand the new threats and adapt our strategies.
So we can't just rest on our laurels. We got to keep learning and adjusting.
Yep. And monitoring is important too, keeping track of the population.
Making sure they're doing okay.
And public awareness is huge. People need to know about this bird and the threats it faces.
Yeah, because it's not just about saving one species, right?
And it's bigger than that.
It's about the whole ecosystem, the web of life.
Exactly. Protecting the warbler means protecting its habitat, which benefits all kinds of other plants and animals.
Biodiversity, that's the key.
And it's about recognizing the positive impact we can have.
Right. It's not all doom and gloom. We can make a difference.
The Kirtland's warbler is proof of that.
It's a real inspiration. So as we wrap up this deep dive, think about this. Could this success story be a model for other endangered species? It's something to ponder, and maybe it'll spark some curiosity, inspire you to learn more about conservation and how you can be a part of it. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and until next time, keep exploring.